Arisha's love for Siyam was the kind of devotion that completely redefines a person's destiny. Born into an elite, highly respected family, she was a brilliant young woman with a sharp corporate mind, destined to inherit her father's multi-million-dollar real estate empire. Her life was meticulously mapped out, safe, and prestigious until the day she met Siyam. He was a struggling freelance architect with an angelic face and a silver tongue, presenting himself as a misunderstood genius who possessed massive dreams but lacked the financial capital to realize them. Arisha's father, a veteran businessman, saw right through Siyam's calculated charm and begged his daughter to walk away, warning her that Siyam was a predator who loved her status far more than her soul. But blinded by pure devotion, Arisha made the ultimate sacrifice. She turned her back on her family's luxury estate, forfeited her immense inheritance, and walked away with nothing but her modest personal savings to marry Siyam in a cramped, rented suburban apartment. For the first 2 years, the marriage seemed flawless. Arisha poured her life savings, her deep business knowledge, and her tireless work ethic into establishing a construction firm for Siyam. While Siyam acted as the charismatic, public face of the company, Arisha was the true engine behind the scenes. She single-handedly managed the complex financial auditing, structured the tax mitigation frameworks, and drafted the high-level government tenders that put the company on the map. Because of Arisha's silent brilliance, the company skyrocketed, landing massive municipal contracts. Almost overnight, Siyam transitioned from a broke freelancer into a multi-millionaire CEO, but as the corporate bank accounts filled up, the warm, attentive man Arisha loved began to vanish. Siyam traded his old clothes for tailored Italian suits, bought luxury sports cars, and began spending days away under the guise of urgent project inspections. He locked his phone with military-grade encryption, keeping it face down at all times. Whenever Arisha tried to gently communicate about his sudden coldness, Siyam would unleash a calculated psychological campaign of extreme gaslighting. He would slam doors, mocking her small-minded, middle-class insecurity, and aggressively tell her that her paranoia was a clinical disease, ruining his corporate growth. This relentless emotional abuse pushed Arisha into a state of severe mental chaos, making her genuinely question her own sanity. She had no idea that Siyam was deeply involved in an illicit affair with Tania, the glamorous chief accountant he had recently hired, and that the two were actively drafting an intricate legal blueprint to permanently erase Arisha from existence. The suffocating fog of confusion came to a violent halt on a stormy Friday night. Siyam had officially informed Arisha that he was flying out to a remote construction site for the weekend and would be completely unreachable. But at 2:15 a.m., while Arisha sat alone in the dark, her phone buzzed with an automated, high-security alert from their primary banking portal. A massive wire transfer of approximately $5 million was being moved from the company's core operational reserve into an untraceable offshore account in the Cayman Islands. Most terrifyingly, the transaction log showed that the transfer had been authorized using Arisha's personal, restricted digital signature. Panic surging through her veins, Arisha drove through a torrential downpour directly to the corporate headquarters downtown. Using her master bypass key, she unlocked the executive suite. The lights were low, but as she stepped into the main office, her world shattered. There, sitting at the executive desk, were Siyam and Tania. They were pouring expensive champagne, laughing hysterically as they stared at a laptop screen detailing the successful offshore transfer. When Siyam looked up and saw Arisha standing in the doorway drenched in rain, there was no fear in his eyes, only a cold, chilling look of absolute triumph. He calmly told her that they had spent the last 8 months siphoning funds and planting a flawless digital trail of forged emails, dummy accounts, and falsified audit documents. By morning, the Federal Economic Crime Division would receive an anonymous tip, making Arisha the sole mastermind of a massive corporate embezzlement scheme. The next morning, the trap snapped shut with terrifying precision. Arisha's apartment was raided by federal investigators, and she was arrested. The courtroom scene was a brutal display of institutional betrayal. Arisha stood in the dark mahogany dock, handcuffed, while her husband took the witness stand with fake tears in his eyes, testifying that his wife suffered from severe psychological issues and that her greed had completely consumed her sanity. Because Arisha had been isolated from her family and friends for years, her legal aid lawyer was completely overwhelmed by the mountain of fabricated evidence. The judge denied her bail and remanded Arisha into judicial custody for 3 months, pending trial. As she was being led away in chains, she looked back to see Tania resting her head on Siyam's shoulder, smirking with absolute malice. Life inside the cold, concrete walls of the central jail was a harrowing descent into absolute despair. Arisha spent her nights weeping on a thin mattress, her mind replaying the betrayal like an endless nightmare. To make matters worse, her elderly father suffered a massive, debilitating stroke upon hearing the news of her arrest and was rushed to the intensive care unit, completely unable to help her. The society that once praised her intelligence now openly labeled her a greedy, white-collar criminal. On a freezing midnight during her 2nd month of incarceration, Arisha reached her absolute breaking point. Staring at the rusted iron bars of her cell window, she seriously contemplated ending her own life. But as she looked up at the moonless sky, her father's voice suddenly echoed in her memory a piece of advice he had given her when she was a little girl. "My child, never shed tears before wolves. If you must fight, you fight like a wounded lioness." Something snapped inside Arisha's psyche. The sorrow, the confusion, and the self-pity instantly evaporated, replaced by a terrifyingly focused, sub-zero crystalline rage. She realized that Siyam's biggest mistake was leaving her alive. The victim was dead. The hunter was born. She used her one permitted phone call to contact Barrister Assad, her late grandfather's legendary, reclusive criminal defense lawyer. Operating under absolute secrecy, Assad, and a world-class cyber-forensic investigator, obtained a court order to secure a mirrored backup of the company's primary servers before Siyam could permanently wipe them. After weeks of deep digital excavation, the forensic expert discovered that on the night of the $5 million transfer, Arisha's digital signature had been executed via a hidden cloning software installed on Tania's personal MacBook, which was physically located inside Siyam's private office at the exact timestamp of the transfer. Furthermore, they managed to recover a massive cache of deleted chat logs from a synchronized cloud backup. The logs contained months of explicit text messages between Siyam and Tania, meticulously detailing how they were going to systematically drug Arisha, clone her digital keys, and frame her for the financial fraud. Equipped with this explosive evidence, Barrister Assad presented the forensic report to a high court judge during an emergency closed-door hearing, and Arisha was granted an unconditional, low-profile bail. However, Arisha explicitly instructed her legal team to keep her release completely hidden from the public eye. She wanted Siyam and Tania to believe she was still rotting in a jail cell, completely powerless. Arisha moved into a highly secure, undisclosed location and monitored Siyam and Tania's movements through a private intelligence firm. She discovered that Siyam had used the embezzled $5 million as a down payment to acquire a massive, premium commercial shopping mall downtown through a network of shell companies designed to launder the stolen money. The grand signing and public ribbon-cutting ceremony for this new commercial empire were scheduled for the upcoming Friday. Arisha quietly compiled the complete cyber forensic file, the recovered chat logs, and the detailed money laundering maps, and delivered them directly to the Director General of the Anti-Corruption Commission and the Central Bank's Financial Intelligence Unit. She was going to allow them to climb to the absolute peak of their success, just to ensure their fall would be completely fatal. Friday arrived, clear and blindingly bright. The Grand Plaza of the newly acquired luxury shopping mall was packed with television reporters, high-profile politicians, and elite business tycoons. Siyam stood at the center stage under the flashing lights, dressed in an expensive tuxedo, with Tania by his side draped in diamonds. They were holding a massive pair of golden scissors, ready to cut the ribbon and solidify their status as the city's newest billionaire power couple. Just as Siyam raised the scissors, a fleet of black tactical SUVs screeched to a halt, completely blocking the entrance plaza. A dozen elite economic crime officers and agents from the anti-corruption Commission flooded the stage. Step by step, walking right behind the lead commander, stepped out Arisha. She was dressed in an exquisite, powerful power suit, her eyes reflecting absolute, unshakable victory. Siyam's face turned an ashen, deathly white, the golden scissors slipping from his trembling fingers. The lead commander stepped forward and read the official warrants allowed to the flashing cameras. Siyam and Tania were arrested on the spot for corporate conspiracy, high-level identity theft, cyber forgery, and multi-million-dollar money laundering. The subsequent trial was a national sensation, with the unbypassable cyber forensics and explicit chat logs presented in open court. The defense had absolutely no ground to stand on. The judge showed zero leniency, sentencing both Siyam and Tania to 14 years of rigorous imprisonment with hard labor, alongside the complete asset forfeiture of every single property they owned. As they were dragged out of the courtroom in tears, begging for mercy, Arisha stood tall, watching them get locked into the exact same darkness they had designed for her. 6 months after the final verdict, Arisha stood on the penthouse terrace of her family's restored corporate headquarters. Her father had fully recovered from his illness, his pride in his daughter acting as his ultimate medicine. Arisha took full control of the liquidated assets and rebranded the entire conglomerate as the Phoenix Empire. She transformed the corporation into a beacon of ethical business, creating an international foundation that offers free elite legal protection, cyber forensics, and financial asylum to women and underdogs who have been systematically exploited by powerful predators. Arisha had finally uncovered the deepest mystery of her life's journey. Real wealth isn't about the billions sitting in a bank account. It is about the unbreakable strength of your character. The ultimate revenge isn't a petty feud or an act of violence. It is turning your deepest betrayal into a monumental empire of justice, leaving the people who tried to break you completely irrelevant to your destiny.